Born from the ashes. Born from the ashes. Born from the ashes. Born from the ashes. Born from the. You can't suffocate my spirit. 'Cause I'm the king on my own throne, King on my own throne, my own throne. You'll never see me fall.
What's going on, you guys? It's the FPL Penguin back again with another stream for you all. Hope you're all doing well. Now, in today's stream, I'll be talking about Gameweek 23. Some differentials as well. Players to look out for the next few fixtures ahead. So, without any time to waste, let's have a look at some players and give you some differentials I feel could be ones to watch. Some nice little gems to look out for. So, I'm going to start off with Arsenal. Now, we know about Arsenal. They're a bit 50-50 at the moment, but they've got some good players. They've got Saka, they've got Smith Rowe. Some nice little cheap gems in that team. A lot of people hyping up Saka. You know, Saka is very, very good. Smith Rowe's kind of just fizzled out a bit. He was getting a couple of the assists, when he was getting the starts for Arsenal. But if you have a look at comparison-wise between Saka and Smith Rowe, we can actually see here with Saka, we're going to compare him with Smith Rowe. So if we compare him to, and look at stats wise and how they do, they're pretty similar, aren't they? They're pretty similar. As you can see, with Saka being green and ESR being blue, it's quite tight. You know, there's no clear winner, but Saka just edges it a bit more attacking wise. Creativity, he just edges it there too, and technical and tactical. But you can see on the far right, this is SofaScore. Shout out to SofaScore. You can check all the stats and stuff. I'm not sponsored, but I love to throw them out here every now and again. So this is SofaScore. Do check them out. As you can see, Saka loves to take corners. Now, if we look at Arsenal's next few fixtures as well, have a little scroll down. Hopefully, try and find some fixtures for him. We just go back and we can see here they've got Aston Villa, they've got Leeds, then they've got a tough one with Man City at home, and then they've got Leicester away. But I'm kind of looking at those next two fixtures ahead. You've got Villa and you've got Leeds next. Now both are conceding goals, and the Villa game's going to be very, very interesting because Arsenal are going to be without Leno, they're going to be without more overplayers as well, because David Luiz to put out there too, and it's going to be a tough game for him. I don't think it's going to be an easy game, the Villa game for Arsenal, but I think if you look at players, if you want to go for a cheeky differential against an Aston Villa side that conceded 3 against West Ham. Now we'll get to West Ham in a minute, talk about a player in particular who you may have seen a bit of spoiler alert about a minute or two ago. I do think Saka is a good one to probably look at aiming for. I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. Now if we have a look at how he's done so far this season, I think with Saka, have a little scroll down, he's got 5 goals and 3 assists. Now he hasn't done anything since the Southampton game week 20, but he did miss a game after that against Manchester United, and he played 90 minutes against Wolves. But I feel Saka, a lot of people talk about him, I think he's a very good player, and I do like him. I think he's a good one, and I do wish I had him in my team. If we look at Smith Rowe, if we look at this as well with Saka and Smith Rowe before we carry on, have a little scroll down, as you can see here. Shots per game 1.6, this is Saka. A little key passes per game 1.3. And we just see how he got on against Wolves, and if we can compare him with Smith Rowe, would be absolutely fantastic. So if we just pop this up on the screen and get both men on the screen, would be awesome. So we get Smith Rowe too. Hopefully you can see the stats okay on the screen. This is their heat maps, compare them wise. And Saka a bit more get into the box a bit more than Smith Rowe. If you have a little scroll down and just check the stats a bit more comparison wise. As you can see, key passes, Smith Rowe getting that extra key pass, one more than Saka in that game. Shots per game, Smith Rowe didn't have any shots towards goal, but Saka did, with 1 on target, 1 off and 1 blocked, and 1 hit the woodwork too. So it's Saka looks like a really good player going forward. Nice cheap differential. I think he could get the returns. If you want to save money, don't get yourself a Lacazette or an Aubameyang. Go for someone like Saka. He's a tiny bit more expensive, I believe, than Smith Rowe, but I think Saka will be a lovely differential to look out for. We've got people in the chat. How you doing, FPL King? How's my Gameweek 22 going? Absolutely terrible, mate. I will be doing a stream tomorrow, hopefully with some guests as well. So stay tuned for that. But I've got about 46 points at the minute, and that's me done. I haven't got any Spurs players for tonight. How are you getting on, King? Do let me know. How are you getting on as well, mate? Hey Pingu, how you doing? Mate? Lingard or Pereira? I'll get to Lingard in a minute. Should we talk about Lingard now? I think we should. Let's talk about Lingard. I was going to save until near the end, do it in alphabetical order, but let's talk about him. So if a little scroll down. Now Lingard, what a debut that was. Against Aston Villa. 3-1. 2 goals against Aston Villa. Now this is Lingard here, as you can see. That's his heat map against Aston Villa on the far right hand side of the screen. Hopefully you can see that. And we have a little bit scroll down. These are all his stats in his debut match for West Ham on the far right. As you see, he played about nearly 90 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes in that game, 2 goals, and goals per game 2.0, shots per game 3.0, so it's only going to be getting the data from this match. Key passes, he got around about 2 in that game. He looks a really good player, and he's about 5.9 million. I think he's a lovely player, could be a nice little gem to own. This is Lingard, who we're talking about, the new people will probably tune in, and I think he could be a fantastic signing for West Ham. I think, for that price as well, 5.9, I think, going forward, if we look at the fixtures too, have a look back at the fixtures, he's got Fulham next, and he's got Sheffield United and Spurs. He could quite possibly do something against Spurs. They've been a bit dodgy as of late, and I feel, if you get yourself a Jesse Lingard in, now I'm not saying Fulham's going to be easy. They've been a bit of a bogey team for a lot of teams, being at Craven Cottage, and I think it was 1-0. West Ham won last time out, I'm not too sure. And they got Sheffield United as well. They're kind of a bogey team for a lot of teams, home and away. But I feel these two could be lovely. It's like a double game week. West Ham versus Burnley, West Ham versus West Brom. Remember that? So just imagine this is a double game week, and I feel I'm kind of rubbing my hands together, licking my lips, that this is very juicy. And I feel for Lingard, he could do well, and it could be a good time to maybe bring him in. Bit of a punt, He had a fantastic debut against a tough game away from home against Villa. So against Fulham and Sheffield United, I don't see it a bad idea. So that's Jesse Lingard. I feel, very, very unlucky during his time at Manchester United, but hopefully he can get his career back up and running again at West Ham. FPL King saying, regret making Salah captain. Dude, I made Salah captain. It was, being a Liverpool fan myself, I can't explain what is going on with our team. We've got so many injuries. Hopefully when they're back, we can turn things around. But it's just crazy. It really is crazy. But I don't know who I'm going to captain this week. I'm just trying not to get too stressed with FPL. So that's what I'm planning to do. Just take it easy and not get too stressed with it. Stam are here. So yeah, with Lingard, I do like him. I do like Lingard, and a few other players as well. You may want to look at, Cresswell. I think the best defender at West Ham, I would say, we're looking at Cresswell. He takes corners. He got an assist in that game, and not the Aston Villa game, was it the game before? But he looked very good, and I feel out of him, Safal, and the other players, other defenders, I feel Cresswell is the best West Ham defender to go for. You've got a defender taking corners, which is a bonus. It is a bonus. Souček's in there as well. Owning Souček for Fulham and Sheffield United isn't a bad idea. He's a very, very good player, and he got returns against Aston Villa, and I feel he could do something as well. So I know if you want to, you could go triple. You could go triple West Ham. Just enjoy it, sit back, see what happens. Maybe get an Antonio in there and see what happens. I think other players are probably. If we ever just have a look around here, other players to probably look at bringing in. Have a little scroll. A lot of people talking about Pereira. I brought him in this week. did not pay off. Did not pay off. So I think he's a player to avoid. Avoid any West Brom players at the minute. If I'm correct, if anyone wants to confirm it, Maitland-Niles, that's how you pronounce his name, has joined West Brom. So something about West Brom, we're going to probably play him in a centre mid role. I have no idea. I mean, that's kind of like having a Lord Lundstrom, isn't it? Because Maitland-Niles is a fullback, I believe. So that would be a bonus as well, but I think stay clear of West Brom at this moment in time. We don't know how they're going to play. They're kind of like just sitting back. That's how they like to play with Big Sam. Southampton, I'd say at the minute just avoid with that 9-0 loss. I think just avoid at the moment. I did hype up Danny Ings, but at the moment I'd just say avoid. Players to probably look at, you're probably thinking Callum Wilson, but you know what Callum Wilson's like. He did pick up an assist against Crystal Palace in a 2-1 loss, but he's a troll, and I do feel it does. You're probably thinking, this game versus Southampton, it does look juicy, doesn't it? It does look juicy, but then he's got Chelsea and Manchester United away. I'm not getting too hyped. You know, despite them losing to Arsenal, Villa, and now Manchester United 9-0, Southampton, I'm not getting too hyped, you know, to have a Callum Wilson. And, you know, Southampton could really be up for this game. We're all getting like, yeah, Callum Wilson's a great pick. Nah, I just feel this is a game that I feel is going to be a tight game. It could go either way, but I feel I'm going to put a 1-1 draw in this game, and I feel like bringing Callum Wilson in, he's going to troll us if you bring him in. Another player to probably talk about, we're going to be talking about as well, is looking at Leicester. Look at Leicester, because, you know, Maddison's doing well. He picked up, was it 2 assists in the last game, I believe, against Fulham, and he did well against... I think it was an assist, but he did well. He picked up returns once again. He picked up returns against Leeds, and he picked up returns against Fulham. So he's a lovely one to go for. I do wish I picked him over Barnes, but I think I was just quite a bit of money out as well, and I was saving the money in the bank. Maddison's a lovely one to go for. If we do have a look at his stats on SofaScore and see what he's all about. Little scroll down. This is his heat map. If you look at his heat map versus Fulham, that's his heat map. Hopefully you can see that okay. Hopefully I can probably make it bigger. That's it. I can make it bigger. So that's his heat map. That's his heat map for that's what he had against Fulham. He got 2 assists in that game. He had 4 key passes, but we know he can take corners, so pretty accurate corners he can take. And crosses accurate 1 out of 1. He just looks a very good player. You know, shots on target just 1. He's one of them players that is doing well. They're doing well without Vardy. He's probably pushed himself more. He's probably playing as a false number 9, James Maddison, and he's really pushing that team forward, even without Vardy in there. And I feel he's a lovely, lovely player to probably consider, you know, bringing into our teams. If we compare him to somebody like Lingard, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? If we compare him to Lingard, now that's quite interesting because we've got any stats in the minute. So it would be a tough one. It would be a tough one. So James Maddison, too early to do a comparison because now he's moved to West Ham, and I don't think we can get his Manchester United stats. But there's not going to be much to compare there, is there? But I do feel Maddison is a lovely one to probably go for too. A nice differential. He's probably high up in ownership, but I probably still class him as a differential the way Leicester are playing at the moment. So he's a good one to probably consider bringing into our teams. Leeds-wise, you know, we got Bamford in there. Another player I want to talk about. Is Raphinha. Raphinha, now he's been doing well. He's been doing well in the last couple of games. If we just bring his stats up here, as you can see here, this is his stats. It's 5.3, and I think that's so cheap for a player of, you know, the way he's playing at the moment. 4 goals and 4 assists. Nothing too much to rave about, but he's been playing well in the last couple of games. He got a goal and assist against Newcastle, he got an assist against Leicester, and he got a goal against Everton in a 2-1 loss against him. If we look at his comparison-wise, if we compare him to probably Maddison, which I just don't think is a particularly good idea, but he's not bad. Attacking-wise, he's pretty similar to Maddison, with Raphinha being the blue and Maddison being green. You know, if you look at creativity, they're pretty tight, but Maddison still edging it, you know, by another 10. I don't think Raphinha is a bad shout. And I feel he could be a good player to probably consider for for a differential if you want to go for that punt for the next few games ahead. And if we just type his name in, and I'll just show you some of the stats as well. As you can see, this is a heat map. If we look at his heat map on here, this is his heat map, and but yeah, this is what Raphinha's like. Raphinha, he loves to attack a lot, loves to get into the box, and it looks like he takes corners too on that right hand side of the field. And this is his heat map against Everton. 2-0 loss, 2 key passes, and he had 2 shots on target, 1 shot blocked, 1 big chance missed, and he just looks a really nice cheap gem. He looks a really nice cheap gem to going forward, and I personally would like to go for him. If I had to choose between him or Bamford, I'd probably choose Raphinha, because I think he's offering more to that Leeds team at the minute, and I feel he's been a very, very good signing for the Leeds team so far this season. So he could be a good one to go for if we look at the fixtures as well. Just have a little scroll at the fixtures. As you can see, he's got Crystal Palace, he's got Arsenal, he's got Wolves, he's got Aston Villa, he's got West Ham. Now, these are going to be, there's 2, they're probably all going to be tough for him, but if they can beat Leicester, anything's possible. I feel by looking at their fixtures, I don't think it will hurt. I think the Leeds player to bring in at the moment, I think avoid probably defenders at the moment unless you want to keep Dallas in your team, because he's playing a centre mid role at the minute and he usually thrives there. I'd probably say go for a nice cheap gem like Raphinha. I feel he offers a lot to that Leeds team and the attack wise, and he could be a nice one going forward for the next couple of fixtures. And they may not look the best for Leeds, but we've seen how attacking they really are. And if you look what they did to Leicester, and I did not expect them to beat Leicester away from home. It's crazy that. And I do feel it won't hurt to have someone like a Raphinha in your team. It won't hurt, in my opinion. Dylan's here. My Alonso punt didn't work. I benched Justin. Oh, dude. How you doing, Dylan? Hope you're doing well, mate. That's crazy. This is another prompt stream, just out of the blue. Oh, dude. Unlucky. But seriously, I think with Justin, he's really turned things around, and he's another differential. I don't know how much an ownership he really is, but I feel he's a nice one to go for. I unfortunately had him for his bad run, and then got rid of him for his good run, and that was very unlucky on my side, and that's very frustrating. But that's FPL for you, isn't it? But I think with Justin, he offers a lot. We do have a look at Justin, because we know he's a relatively cheap one. He's at 5 million. They're his fixtures. Liverpool, being a Liverpool fan, I think if we can't beat Brighton or that, we're playing like chumps. We really are. And if we have a look at James Justin, how he's doing so far, and what he looked like in his last game. So that's his heat map, as you can see. I like to compare him quickly to Andy Robertson. That would be a good one. So if we get him comparing to Andy Robertson, as you can see, Andy Robertson's the blue one. Andy Robertson just edges it attacking wise and creativity. If we compare him to probably say Trent, see if we can get Trent in. Compare Justin to Trent. Now Trent's a lot more better by the looks of it. It looks like he's a tiny bit more better than Robertson as well, and stats wise. So Justin isn't bad. Justin is a very, very good player. You can see his ratings on the far right. He's getting some good ratings up there. Now, if you have a look how we're going against Fulham, now you can see the arrows going towards the left hand side of the screen. It was a bit more back, wasn't he, on this game? It looks like maybe Fulham were pushing them back by the looks of it. But you can see just slightly he got into the box every now and again during that game. He did get a goal. He had 2 block shots. He looks very good defensively, as you can see. Shots, he only had 1 shot on target. Now, he looks a very good player. I still rate him. I think he... I think there'll be other clubs knocking on the door for him next season in the summer, looking for his signature. I really do think so, and I feel like he'd be a good one for any team. I feel like I do rate him, and the former Luton player. Other players to probably think about considering. If we're looking at Everton, is there anybody from Everton? You got yourself a Richarlison, but I think at the minute Everton are hit or miss. and I think just avoid them at this moment in time. People are talking about Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace, you know, you got likes of Eze. Now, I was talking with JBT the other day on my stream, regular special guest on this channel. We were talking about, you know, Wolf Zaha or Eze. You know, they're good players that are really pushing that team forward, getting those attacking returns. Now, I really do like Eze. Now, if you haven't watched that video already, guys, do check it out. It's the video before this stream, so do check out that video as well. I posted it last night. But I do really like the look of Eze. If we do comparison-wise, have a little look up here. And we just compare Wolf Zaha to Eze. I imagine Wolf's probably just going to edge it, but I just want to do a bit of an experiment. As you can see, by the looks of it, Eze just edges it tactical. Creativity, Wolf just edges it there by 1. As you can see, attacking wise, Wolf just edges it there 2, and technical, Eze edges it there. So it's pretty tight on both sides. It's pretty tight. Now, Eze would be a lovely differential to probably look at going forward. He did score, was it, against Newcastle? He scored? It wasn't Newcastle. That was Wolf. But I think he scored against Newcastle, I believe. If you have a look at that game and see how he did against the Toon army. He got an assist in that game by the looks of it. But I'm sure he scored as well against Southampton. Against Wolves, I believe. As you can see, this is how he got on against Newcastle. If you open his heat map just a bit, and you can see he just looks a good player. And I think because he's cheap, he'd be a cheaper one than Wolf Zaha, but I know a lot will probably opt for Zaha instead. At the moment, if you look as well, Zaha is probably injured for the next game. He's got a bit of an injury. We haven't heard much from Roy as of yet. So Eze could be the one to go for if you want to go for that differential punt. If you look at the fixtures, you've got Leeds. Now Leeds, they're conceding the goals. They are conceding the goals, and I feel, why not go for an Eze? You can make it easy peasy. See what I did there? You know, you got Burnley, Brighton, Fulham. Now, with or without Zaha, you could go for Zaha. I feel they're lovely fixtures ahead of Crystal Palace. They're known for being an attacking team. They really go forward. And I feel there's nothing wrong with probably having someone like a Wolf Zaha, or maybe just have a cheaper gem and go for someone like Eze in your team. So I think they're very good. I think both are very good on both sides. Dylan's saying here, Bamford last week and Justin this week. That's just FPL. It is. FPL, it's a funny game. It's one of those frustrating games that, you know, really winds us up. And I'm having a shocker. I'm having a shocker off a game week so far. Well, season, should I say. So hopefully I can turn things around and see what happens. I'm trying to not take any hits as well for a couple of weeks to see what happens there. Is Zaha injured? At this moment, he's still injured, and I haven't heard much from Roy. So do stay tuned, guys. Don't do any early transfers. And also, we know about COVID as well, but nothing confirmed. So Zaha, we'll have to see. Probably wait Friday, mate, and see if there's an update on Wolf Zaha. Yeah, so we just got to see. We just got to see. But I don't rule out someone like Eze. I think he's a very, very good player, like JBT's been talking about, and I feel like he's a nice cheap gem. I want to talk about Brighton as well. Now, Brighton, my God, they beat Liverpool. They beat my team, Liverpool. My God, there are some good players to probably talk about from Brighton. You know, they beat Spurs as well. Nothing wrong with probably an attacker. So, if we have a look at some players from Brighton, they've got Burnley, Villa, Palace, and West Brom. So, if we have a look at some of their players, and have a little scroll down. Now, you've got Maupay in that team. You've got Trossard. And I think the two that are coming at me, you know, that are in my face, that grab my attention are Maupay and Trossard. If we have a look at Trossard and have a little scroll down. He's got 2 goals and 5 assists. He picked up a goal against Spurs, and then the week after, he picked up an assist against Liverpool. Price-wise, he's 5.7. I think that's a bargain. I think with the fixtures ahead as well, I think that's an absolute bargain. And he's not heavily owned too. Maupay, if we have a look at him, 3% owned is 6.1 million. He's got 7 goals and 1 assist. He's been a bit quiet as of late. He loves to take penalties like Bruno Fernandes. But I think Trossard wouldn't be a bad shout. I think Maupay, I don't think having a Brighton attack is a bad shout. I think if you want to go for one, I feel it's not a bad shout. So we have a look at some of Brighton's games. And just have a look at what they really are about these guys from Brighton Hove. So we're just going to do a bit of comparison-wise. And probably look. Let's have a look at the Liverpool game first. Because Brighton did give us a good game. They did give us a good game. And if we have a look at probably Trossard and Maupay and see how they did. And you can see that those are the heat maps with the arrow. If you can't see it, it's going towards the left-hand side of the screen. As you can see, Trossard looks very, very attacking, doesn't he? He looks very, very attacking. And if we have a look at as well, Maupay got 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked. If we look at Trossard, he had 1 shot on target in that game. Key pass wise, he had 1 key pass Maupay and 1 key pass for Trossard in that game. And 2 key passes, should I say. And I just think if we have a look as well at the Spurs game, because I'm very intrigued to see what will happen in the Spurs game. Because I really do like Brighton. I feel 1 or 2 of their players do go under the radar. And this is probably something I should have mentioned in my other video. As you can see, this is the Spurs game. Maupay and Trossard versus Spurs with the arrow going towards the right hand side of the screen. They both look very, very attacking, but Trossard, geez, he looks very good and he scored in that game too. And if we have a little scroll down towards shots on target for both players. As you can see, 1 shot off target for Maupay and 1 shot on target for Trossard in the Spurs game. Key passes are, hopefully you can see it there, 2 each for both Maupay and Trossard in that game. I think both are lovely, but I think the one that really, shines in my face is Trossard. I feel he's going under the radar and he's being overlooked. Very, 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 very low ownership, and I feel with a bright side that looks quite attacking at the moment, it could be one to probably consider bringing into our teams. We've got a few more people here. How are we all doing? If you're joining the stream, please hit that like button. We do appreciate, and subscribe. We do appreciate the support as always. Is Zaha injured? Zaha's Faddy, how you doing, mates? Should I sell Diet for Rudiger? But if both will have a double in 26, Diet will have a better double. That's true. But I think at the moment, mate, if we do look at Spurs fixtures and go back to the fixture difficulty, look at Chelsea's fixtures. I really do like them. Now we've got to see how they do against Spurs, how this match goes between Spurs and Chelsea. At the moment, this new manager has helped his team keep 2 clean sheets so far this season. Now Sheffield United, Newcastle and Southampton next. All 3 teams are in 50-50, pretty much poor form at this very moment, and I feel this wouldn't be a bad idea to have probably double Chelsea defence going forward for the next few games. If you look at Spurs, have a look at Spurs at the moment. They've got West Brom, then they've got Man City, and then they've got West Ham. I think they're going to be still tough games. I think West Brom will give them a tough game. I think West Ham will give them a tough game. I think at the moment, mate, I know you're thinking about Dyer for the possible double game week in 26, but I feel, for the next 3 fixtures, that's going up to game week 25. Go for Rudiger, mate. Go for the Chelsea defender. He's 4.5. He's very, very cheap. I can't believe he was 5 million at the start of the season. So I'd say go for him for the Chelsea defence against Sheffield United, Newcastle and Southampton. That's what I would say. And Souček will go up in price tonight. Souček going up in price by the sounds of it. Wow. Souček, he's a lovely one going forward too. He's been doing well last couple of games. He's got, I believe, Fulham next and then Sheffield United. 2 lovely games for him. And we just got to see how he does there. Alex, how you doing, mates? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Lamptey will be a good one when back, or even Lewis Dunk. Lamptey, when he's back, he's a very good player. Nice cheap gem to have. I think he's a good one. Dunk loves to get forward and, head them in like Maguire does from a set piece. At the moment, attacking-wise, Trossard is a good one from the attacking side of it with Brighton. So he's a good one to go for. So yeah, if you got any more questions, guys, any Game Week 23 questions or any differentials that you're eyeing up, please do let me know in the chat. If you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button, hit subscribe, share the stream with all your mates on Facebook and Twitter. Hit the share button down below. Really do appreciate it. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm still going at the moment on the stream, but just let you all know I will be back tomorrow doing another stream, a Game Week 23 stream, the day before the deadline. Hopefully with some more guests, special guests, chatting all things FPL, answering your questions, rating your teams, and all that lovely jazz. But yeah, so I think fixtures wise, that's what I've been talking about. So I've been going on for a good half an hour now, near enough half an hour, and they're the sort of gems that I think you should look out for. So I will be putting timestamps on these streams. I always do. So if you do come here and you want to re-watch this, if you just arrived now, I will be putting timestamps on this stream. So don't worry about it. And a thumbnail. But yeah, so that's basically what I do think the differentials wise with these teams. There's nothing really from Fulham. Somebody was talking about Lookman. I don't know if it was you, Dylan. If it was you that mentioned Lookman one time. But he's a good one. But at the moment, I think with Fulham, we don't know where they're going at the minute. And but before we play, I really do think the ones I've mentioned are good ones to probably target. Lingard is a lovely one to target, in my opinion. I think is a lovely one to go for. Dylan saying here, Man City will walk Liverpool. Double City defence. Maybe not that bad. Easy clean sheet. Mate, I'll talk about all this tomorrow, being a Liverpool fan. But I'll tell you something, mate. I'm benching both my City defenders, and I'm starting Salah. I know it sounds, but I'm telling you something. I just want to try and believe my team, and hopefully we beat City. That's what I hope. But yeah, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the stream. If you have, hit that like button. Hit subscribe, join the bubbly bunch army, and hopefully see you tomorrow, probably 2:30 GMT UK time. Hopefully with some more guests, special guests. Stay tuned for that. Please send me your teams through Twitter, and I'll rate them on the stream tomorrow. You know my Twitter, it's FPL_penguin1. Socials at the top, and I shall see you guys next stream. Take care.
I rise just like a phoenix, born from the ashes. I take